Good evening, everybody, and welcome to season 2 of the Mechanism Podcast. Everybody, we are talking about tonight, and we'll continue to celebrate June, which is Black Music Month. Everybody, so tonight we're going to be talking about Black record companies, and then we're going to talk about Black gyro music. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this podcast. The song for selection for tonight, I do not own the copyrights to this music anymore. It's by Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's called Sing a Song. Check it out.
When you feel down and out, sing a song, it'll make you dance, yeah, yeah. You will time to shout, sing a song, it'll make a way. Sometimes it's hard to care. Sing a song, it'll make you dance. A smile is so hard to bear. Sing a song, it'll make a way. Sing a song, sing a song, sing a song, sing a song. Bring your heart to believe it. Sing a song, it'll make you dance. Let me out, yeah. It'll make you wet. Get yourself what you need. Sing a song, it'll make you dance. Smile, smile, smile and believe. Sing a song, it'll make you wet. Sing a song, sing a sing a song.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to episode 2 of the Mechanism Podcast. So tonight we're going to talk about Black music genre, music selections, and we're going to talk about Black-owned record companies. So we have a lot of great topics that's going to be shared here today. So first and foremost, welcome, welcome. So if this is the very first time you're tuning into the Mechanism Podcast, welcome, welcome, welcome. Type in the comment section below where you're tuning in, city, state, or country, everyone. Again, this is our season 2, episode 2 of the Mechanism Podcast. This is probably the longest podcast that I've run since I've started doing podcasts. If you missed the Mechanism Podcast Season 1, go ahead, follow, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow and like this Facebook page, everyone. So that way everyone can chime in. Okay. All right, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and get started, everyone. So the first topic we're going to be speaking about, we're going to talk about black-owned record labels. Now, many of you know quite a few of them. So we have 10 black-owned record labels we don't discuss enough of. So the first one we have here is called Black Swine Records. Swine Records was a jazz and blues-based label founded in 1921 by a black music businessman named Harry. This is sorry. Black music business name. Black. Excuse me. Let me reread it. I had incoming notifications coming from both phones. Sorry about that. Black Swine Records was a jazz and blues-based label founded in 1921 by a black music businessman named Harry Pace. The label, known as the first black-owned record label, was named after Elizabeth Greenfield, a famous 19th century black vocalist who's referred to as the Black Swine because of her voice. The label had its own distribution. I'm not quite sure that Pace owned his publishing as the owner of Black Swan, but before starting the label, he co-founded Pace/Handy Music with the father of blues, which is W.C. Handy. I believe he stepped down from. Black Swine roster included singers of F. Waters, but Fletcher Henderson worked for the label as a pianist and a manager. If you're familiar with the story of Betsy Smith, you may recognize Black Swan as the label she described, not to sign with early on in her career. The label went bankrupt after 3 short years and was discontinued after it was purchased by Paramount Records in 1924. Okay. The next record label that we're going to be spotlighting tonight here on the Mechanism Podcast is called VJ Records. VJ Records was named after and founded by husband and wife team Vivian Carter and James Broccoli in 1953. The label artists varies in genres, including jazz, blues, rock and roll, R&B, soul, and gospel. Their biggest acts include the R&B group The Impressions, co-founded by soul singer Curtis Mayfield and Jerry Butler, blues singer and instrumentalist Jimmy Reed, but the label's act includes some artists at the beginning of their career that we know well today, such as the Pips, known as Gladys Knight and the Pips. Wayne Shorter, the staple singers, VJ faced legal trouble and filed bankruptcy in 1965. The label went through various owners over the past 40 years before having its music acquired by Core Music Group. Okay. So pretty much Bell J Records went through a whole ordeal and it ended up being acquired by Core Music Group, everyone. All right. So the next one we're spotlighting here on the Mechanism Podcast is T-Neck Records. T-Neck was a label of one of my favorite soul, funk, and R&B groups. The Isley Brothers, named after Ronald Isley's hometown in New Jersey. T-Neck was launched the first time in 1964, but folded a few years after due to very minor success. However, the brothers reactivated the label in 1969 with a lot of success, releasing many of the Isley Brothers' hit albums and singles like It's Sure Thing, That Lady, For the Love of You, and many more. Unfortunately, the label was defunctioned again in 1985 because of financial and legal issues. The next black label company we're going to be spotlighting is Solar Records. The disco dance and R&B label Solar, short of Sound Disillusion of the Soul Train Records in 1977, which was co-host and Dick Griffin. Decided to leave Soul Train Records with Griffin renaming it Solar. I'm a Benilius left why Cornelius left Soul Train Records. I read that he wanted to shut the label down because he wanted to focus on the show. But I also read there were issues between the co-founders about the disco R&B trio Shermar. Not completely sure. However, under Griffin Solar had a success with Shermar, the Whispers Dynasty, the Dells, which consist of Babyface and L.A. Reid, and later formed L. Face Records and was associated with writers Jimmy Jams and Terry Lewis, who started their own label, Taboo, in 1980, and Leon Shelford III, the family group Shelford. The label went defunct in 1992. All right, many of you may have heard of the Sugar Hill Records. All right, husband and wife duo Sylvia and Joe Robertson, along with the friend Milton, found hip hop label Sugar Hill Records in 1970. Hip hop folks known hit Sugar Hill Records for their biggest group, Sugar Hill Gang, who released their first hip hop rap single, Rapper's Light, in 1979. Others actions on Sugar Hill Records include another group in the hip hop world, Grand Flash and the Furious Five, as well as Funk 4 Plus One, which includes one of the first known women in hip hop, MC Shamrock, mentioned in many women in hip hop posts. The label went defunct in 1986 due to legal issues with their label dispute, but the Robinson family, but the Robinsons' living sons hold control of the label's publishing. All right. Facts. Sylvia Robinson, known as the mother of hip hop, was a singer, songwriter, and a guitarist with some major success before starting her third record label. Sugar Hill was the second label she started. Watching Sylvia perform Pillow Talk on Soul Train here. Okay. All right, everybody. So we have another record label that I'm sharing with you all here. Give me a second. Philadelphia's International Records. Many of you never heard of this. This is new to me. Philadelphia International Records, the legacy R&B slash soul songwriting and producing duo Kenneth Gamble and Leon Hoff started the R&B slash soul funk and disco label in Philadelphia International in 1971. With the distributing dealing with Clyde Davis, then home CBS Records, along with Patti LaBelle's solo success in the 80s. PIR was known for being the home of the star, such as Teddy Pendergrass, as well as his former group Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, known for If You Don't Know Me by Now. The OJ's Love Train, Backstabbers, veteran Lou Ross, You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine, Billy Paul, Me and Mrs. Jones, McFarrell and Whitehead, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, and the house band of labels and band behind the Soul Train theme, MFSB, Gamble and Huff labels went in early 2000 after a failed attempt to revive the label in the 90s. Interesting fact, Gamble slash Huff started writing hit songs in 1950. Also, one of the MF songs had been used as a sample for a few hip hop songs, including Jay-Z, What More Can I Say? Listen here. All right. So the next black record company, American Recording Company, and Kimbo Music. I've never heard of American Record Company, and there isn't much out there about ARC. Was co-founded by a singer, songwriter, producer, and instrumentalist Marcus Maurice White, one of the founding lead members of Earth, Wind and Fire. Some of Earth, Wind and Fire albums were released through the Indian label and parent label Columbia Records, including their hit albums, including Boogie Wonderland, With the Emotions, After the Love Has Gone, and Rise, including Les Groove. Unfortunately, it only exists from 1978 to 1982. However, Kimbo Music was founded in 2003 and relaunched in 2014 as a contemporary jazz label. Okay, White founded Kimball Production in the mid 80s, producing work for The Emotions, Ramsey Lewis, whom White started his career with, Denise Williams, Jennifer Holliday, Barbara Streisand, Neil Diamond, and more. All right. So they have another record label here. So there's quite a few of them that I'm sharing with you. I have two more, and then we're gonna get to the main ones, and then we're gonna jump into the genre of music. Everyone, as you listen to the history of the different black owned record companies out there back then, it was a lot. So the next three I'm going to share with you, you may not have heard of, is new to me as well. This one is called Strange Music, co-founded by Inamoso Tech Nine and his business partner Travis Ogun in 2000. Strange Music claimed to be one of the most successful current independent labels in the world. The labels were one of the first independent labels to sell its own merchandise and music online, including multiple sub labels, including Tech Nine's Music Straight has related almost 50 albums and has at least 10 artists on the label, including merch. Top Dog Entertainment merch. J Rock released his first album, Follow Me Home, Vito Strange Music. So Tech Nine is a rapper, okay? Um, I want to say West Coast music area, West Coast music, okay? I already know because I used to listen to that music, so I know what I'm talking about. Jamili Records. It's a wonderful world music group. It wouldn't be right to do the list of labels without including current labels. Jamil is played on the name of Motown's record original name. Tamala was founded by hip hop producer Ninth Wonders in 2008. Many people knew Jamelia for its Lady Emerald Ransom, who made a mark back in 2015 for her verse on Kendra Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly." However, Jamal is filled with producing collective known as the Soul Counselor, as well as emerging, such as adding slash to GQ, including a singer Heather Victoria. Fun fact: Young Gun, the producer and record engineer known for his extensive work with Jay-Z, is the label director of operation. This is called Jamelia, which is Jamla, Brain Feeder Records. Okay, no, that's Jamila's by itself. The next one is Brain Feeder Records. The LA-based Indian label Barefoot. Brain Feeder was founded and started by producer Flying Lotus in 2008. The label has one of my favorite artist lineup at the moment, with the diversity artist lineup in hip hop, jazz, electric, and more. Other things like Fly Low. The label includes Thundercat commercials along with Taylor McClare, T. Kim, The Underachievers, Mayo Pio, McGill, Atwood, Ferguson, and more. So these are the 10 black owned record labels that are not really mentioned, but they were mentioned here tonight on the Mechanism podcast. So go check them out, everybody, because they had a lot like many. So now we're going to get into the top 14, everyone. And some of them may be repeated and some of them may not. But we have a little bit, I'm going to share a little bit more of those. I'm not going to get very thorough about it because it's a lot of record labels here, everyone. So we did T-Neck Records, we did Sugar Hill Records. We had Bad Boy Records, which is founded by Diddy. We have Black Swan, we talked about Cash Money Records, which was the founders was Birdman. Let's give me a second. Was founded was founded in New Orleans in 1991 by brothers Ronald Slim Williams and Brian Birdman Williams. So that's Cash Money Records label. Cash Money Records is an American record label company in 91. The brothers Ronald Slim Williams and Brian Birdman Williams, the label gained proms in the late 90s for having signed and released albums from New Orleans based musicians acting Juvenile BG and the Hot Boys. All right, so that's Cash Money Records, everybody. All right, we have Motown, of course. We know who this is. It said founded in 1959 by Berry Gordy. Motown Records is an essential figure with African American music production, best known for popular music and soul music. All right, the next one we got Bad Boys. The Notorious B.I.G. Rapper Sean Puffy Combs was an A&R executive at the Uptown Records and New York R&B and hip hop label, and ran by artist Andre Heron. So that was Bad Boy Records. All right, this one here, many of you may have not heard of this one. This one is seems like it's out of London. It's AWAR Sounds, operated out of the front room of a southeast London home since the 1970s. AWAR Sounds is the studio label of Gitsy-born Britain Dip. So the word is ARIWA Sounds. So this is out of Britain. I've never heard of that one, so that's a new one for me. We have Def Jam Records. Okay. Def Jam Records is an American multinational record label operated by Universal Music Group. It is based in Manhattan, New York City, specialized primarily in hip hop, contemporary R&B, soul, and pop. This label has a London-based UK arm known as 0207 Def Jam and is currently operating through EMI Records. All right, so that's a lot of record companies out here, everybody. The next one we have Top Dog Entertainment. Top Dog Entertainment is an American independent record label specialized in hip hop, R&B, and artists and TDE based in Carson, California. The label was founded in 2004 by by record producer Anthony Top Dog Tuffin, who is the chief executive officer. So he's the chief executive, means he's the founder of that Top Dog Entertainment. All right. So let's keep going. So we did VJ. So we have another one here. It's called Black Patty Records. Black Patty Records was a short-living American record label based in Chicago, Illinois, United States, founded by Mayo Williams in 1927. It was named after the after the black opera singer Matilda Sistra Jordan Joyner Jones. She was called Black Patty because she thought she resembles the Italian opera singer Adele Patty. Mm, that's interesting. And this record company was based out of Chicago, Illinois, and it was founded by Mayo Williams in 1927. All right, the next one we have is Cactus Jack Records. Cactus Jack Records was founded by a Houston rapper named Travis Scott. Trevor Scott. The label saw its first signature Smokey Per in September of 27 in October of that year. So Cactus Jack's record is a record company founded by American rapper, singer Travis 2017 as of 2024. Currently acts including Scott himself, Skeet Woo, Don Trevor, Soul Fogo, Chase B, while former acts including Smokey Pearl. The label also has its own publishing brand, Cactus Jack Publishing. This is new to me. So it's a lot of different record companies out here, everybody. So I have a few more before we get into the gyro of this. Just to make you aware, this is Black Music Month in the month of June, everybody. So I have a little bit more to share with you all, everyone. Excuse me for a moment. Let's see. Let's see. The next one is Dreamville Records. Dreamville Records is an American record label founded by American rapper J. Cole and his manager Ishmael Hamad. The label is currently distributing through Interscope Records as a unit of Universal Music. The roster includes Bass, Errol Lance, Kosin, Omar, Lope, and many more. This was founded in 2007, everyone. This is called Dreamville Records. All right. The next one, we have Ska Record was founded company by soul music legend Sam Cooke in 1961. The meaning of ska has been disputed. It has been listed as Sam and Alex Record and also as Sam, Alex, and Ron Records. Rooted Deep Root Records is an independent record label thriving to serve artists in three ways: artists management, music, and event production. Okay. All right. The next one is OV Sounds in Canada, an independent record label founded in 2012 by rapper Drake, producer 40, and manager Oliver L. Kabosh. A label operated as an imprint of Warner Records from its form until 2022. Hmm, that's a new one, everyone. So there's so many record companies out here that we have never ever heard of. It's just an eye opener, everyone, that you just never know the history of those. It's just so much. So many different record companies. So I went over quite a few record companies here on the Mechanism podcast. There's so many record companies, and some of them, some of them went on, and some of them didn't make it. But the thing about it is to know that these record companies, took a leap of faith and attempt and did what they needed to do for the purpose that it served. And a lot of the times, when we look at record companies and think about all of the sacrifices and things that are taken, we just be surprised at things that they had to endure. I know many of you may have heard of Start Records. That was with Muddy Waters, Little Walter, in the movie they had, and I think Etta James was in it, and a few other artists. It was ran by a white guy. I forgot his name, but he basically they made a movie about it. Everyone, and it was a very interesting movie because it just shed the light of the talents that is out there. And the movie was very, how would I say, heartfelt because it was just so much going on. And I want to talk about that one before we transition to talk about the genre of music. Give me a second. Well, actually, it wasn't Start Records. I apologize about that. Start Records was another record company out there. And it was another one. I got to think about the one which Muddy Waters and Little Walter was in. Give me a second. Because I want to talk about those two. Because they spent a lot of time talking about those two when I was growing up. So I heard about that one and the one Muddy Waters. And I want to pull up that one. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the movie that the gentleman had played, and I'm trying to recall because I know I've seen the movie. Uh, let's see. All right, let's just keep it moving, everyone, so I can locate it. So the next record label I'm going to talk about here, everyone, today. This one is Start Records. It's an American record company originally based in Memphis, Tennessee, founded in 1957 as Satellite Records. The label changed its name to Start Records in 1961. It's also shared an operation with sister label Bold Records. Starks was influenced in the creation of Southern Soul and Memphis Soul music. All right, the founder was Jim Stewart, Al Bell, and Esteem Axon. They founded in 1957 in Memphis, Tennessee. The headquarters is in Memphis, Tennessee. The house band is Booker T and the MGs. The genre music was soul, R&B, funk, and progress rock. The partner company is Courtney. Okay, so that is Start Records, everyone. So I'm trying to go back Okay, that's what it was. All right, thank you. I had to think about so the record company I want to talk about. I mean, you may have seen the movie Cadillac Records in 2008, and kind of give you a an overall view of it. Let's see, give me a second. Okay, give me a second. So I'm just gonna go in detail. So pretty much Cadillac Records is a movie. It had a lot of different various of artists that was in there. They had actor like Adrian Boone who played Leonard Chess. We had Jeffrey Wright that played Muddy Woods. We had Etta James that played Beyonce. We had Columbus Short that played Little Water. We had Josh that played Matt Jagger. We had Tony Bentley who played Lamarck. We had Tamla Burra, Isabel Allen. We had Willie Dixon, who played Cedric the Entertainer. So we had various of artists that was shared. I want to read the article about Cadillac Records to everyone so you can all get a view. If you have not watched that movie, it was made in 2008. It's called Cadillac Records, everyone. And I want to give you a history about the true story of the Cadillac Records. The birth of the Chess was called Chess Records. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little history here. Leonard Chess, motivated for buying the property on South Cottage Grove in Chicago, that would be in Moche's Lounge was clear. He thought it would make money. Okay. When his brother Phil got out of the army in 1946, he went straight to work with his brother at the club. It was located in a rough black neighborhood known for all different type of activities, everyone. The martial law burned to the ground in 1950, but Chess Brothers' backup plan was well underway. Shortly after buying the Montreux, the brothers established Arctic Records as a way to record the musicians who played the lounge. Instead of having the band show up on College Grove to play, they would show up at Arctic office several blocks down the street and record everyone. It was far cry from the world polished ignorance of born Lebras. Fast forward, let's get to it. The timing for the aristocrat records into race music could not have been better. 5 million African Americans flee north to escape the Drunko, and they're going back in history here. The KKK and the Second Great Merging. One of the merging was the Mississippi sharecroppers who had been recorded in 1941 by Allen Newmark from the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress. So pretty much they're just going in details about everything. So Aristocrat Records was established. So again, if you have not watched Cadillac Records, go and watch it because it talks about story and history about when everything was happening. Again, they had Muddy Waters, they had Little Walter, they had Willie Dixon, all those phenomenal artists, and Etta James that was a part played different, actors and actresses in that movie, and it just breaks it down in great detail about everything that took place. It was a very good movie. I saw it a few times, but it just gives you history about black culture and this one gentleman that took them on his wings and did above and beyond. The storyline is based on the experience that blacks had to experience in that time. Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on that note. So now let's get into the gyro of music, everyone, for the second time. So we're right at 7:30, everyone. So let's talk about it. So we have various gyro of music of history. All right. The one that I want to talk about here, this is John Coltrane. He was very famous jazz artist back in the 1950s. Coltrane is music of jazz. It has a different tune and sound and vibe. Like, you know a lot about music. I grew up listening to a lot of music. That's pretty much what's played now. Music of all different types. Gospel, soul, you name it, everything. So music and listen to all the different artists and learning their names at an early age has its perks. So you can pretty much say I got an old soul. So yeah. Sorry about that, everybody. Give me a second. All right. So Coltrane was at the forefront of the free jazz movement at the as early as emerging due to his Atlantic record days. Technically, playing was a link between the harmony destined jazz of the 1950s and the free jazz that was involved in the 1960s. The next era of his band saw his wife, pianist Alice Coltrane, replace Tyler Rasheed Ali because the drummer after Jones departed and Pharoah Sanders joined the band as a second saxophone. This group, with unabashed boldness, embraced the explorer to the delight of Avanti, grave, and enthusiasm. This is a game changer. Why is that? Because when you look at music from the 1950s and 60s, or even before that, they had a different sound and they had a different tune. It had meaning to music. And when you listen to jazz, jazz is soothing, but it had a message of what they were sharing to people. Back then, it talked about a lot of different things that were happening. People relate to music, ladies and gentlemen, in different way. Music has meaning to it. It symbolized something and meaning what they may have been feeling or may what they have experienced. Some music have their highs and lows. Some may be sad music. Some may be depressing music. Some may be exciting. Some may be happy. Some may be joyful. Some may be uplifting. Depends on the mood of the jazz player and what they feel like. It has sentimental values and it has a reason why they're playing that too. They may have went through some things in their life by playing that tune. It just gives you a feel of what they were feeling when they wrote that song. That gives a feel what their soul was feeling when they was presenting that song. And when they were presenting that song, ladies and gentlemen, they were doing it from the heart. Okay, many were doing it from the heart, many were just copying off somebody else in some state, but majority of them were doing it from the heart and from the soul because it benefits a lot. And it benefits a lot because it helps them have a different understanding of what that really looks like and what that really speaks about in their life. Okay, so genre of black music has its meaning, and it gives you a lot of clarity, everyone. All right. So with that being said, let's get into it. So we have various of black music genre that I'm going to share with you here on the Mechanism podcast, everybody. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. All right. Hip hop and rap. Hip hop and rap are musical tradition firmly involved in African American culture. Like jazz, hip hop has become a global phenomenon and has exported a driving force in the development of mass media. Hip hop music spawned on an entire culture form, while rap remains a means for artists to voice opinions and share experience regarding social and political issues. The list of music styles merge, scratching the surface. So it's so much music that is being shared here. So as we go into various details of this, I want to kind of break it down. Rock and roll. Rock and roll music incorporate elements for all African American music genres and combine them with American pop and country music components. The genre was born in the 1950s and appealed to rebel yearning of American youth culture. Okay. Next genre of music is R&B. The preceding to soul music, R&B is another stylish diversity genre with roots in jazz, the blues, and the gospel music. R&B helps spread African American culture, publicizing the idea of racial influence on the airwaves in white society. Today's influence of genre has stimulated soul and funk characteristics. The next one is talking about jazz. Jazz evolved from ragtime, American style of corporate instrumental music. Jazz first materialism in New Orleans and is often distinguished by African American musical innovation. Multiple forms of jazz exist today, from the dance origin music of the 1920s, big band eras, to the expanding flora of modern avant-garde jazz. All right. So the next one is military music. Beginning with the Revolution War, African Americans always had a significant role in the Army Service military band tradition. In the Revolutionary War and Civil War, African Americans served in the Drum Corps. Musicians that played in military bands during World War One and World War II often incorporated modern styles such as jazz into their song selection. They also toured the United States and Europe entertaining civilians and military audiences. Next one is talking about blues. The blues is the blues formed the foundation of contemporary American music, as did scat and folk music. The blues also greatly influenced the culture and social lives of African Americans. Geographically diverse incarnation of the blues arose in various regions, including the Mississippi Delta, Memphis, Chicago, Southern Texas. Each region manifests the blues featuring as a unique identifiable sound and message. For example, Mississippi Delta blues illustrates the poverty of the region while celebrating its natural and cultural richness. Folk music. African American folk music links back to African culture traditions, stemming from field hollerings, working chains, and game songs. Folk music burst with society's contemporary. Popular folk protest music spread in the 1960s. Its influence is still found with hip hop today. All right. Scat music. Scat music, which is scared music, excuse me, which includes spiritual and gospel music, illustrates the central role that music plays in African American spiritual and religious life. The earliest form of black musical expressed in America spiritually were based on Christian psalms and hymns and merged with African music styles and sector of music American music forms. Spirituals are originated as an oral tradition and impact Christian values, while also defying the hardship of slavery. Gospel music origin is the Black church and has become a global recognized genre of popular music. In its earlier manifestation, gospel music functioned as an integrated religion and ceremony practice during worship services. Now, gospel music is also marked, commercialized, and drawing on contemporary secular sounds while still connoting spiritual and religious ideas. All right, so that was some very important key points that I wanted to share with you all here on the Mechanism podcast. So, I don't want to leave it to end this segment of the Mechanism podcast without giving you a short, small video to end it. So, we're on good on time today. Last week was about an hour in, but today we're kind of. So, I'm going to end this note. And just to remind you, that the BET Awards will be coming on this upcoming Sunday on BET. I want to say at 8 p.m. So for those of you who are looking for the BET Awards, June 30th, 2024 at 8 p.m. They probably start doing the red carpet scenario, probably 7-ish, 7:30. But the concept of looking at the award ceremonies is to give you an understanding of our culture. And time has changed. True enough, time has definitely changed. But celebrating our culture and to knowing what it looks like, it brings so much great joy to know that we have came a long ways, everyone, and for us to go to a different place, it's just very exciting to see that. And for myself to be here to just share with you this great, very great nugget. I am just very honored and privileged to share with you all today about this because it's a beautiful celebration to be able to just celebrate and to just share some great information with you all. So again, I want to end today's mechanism podcast with this short 1:41 video with you all tonight. Normally, I don't show a video at the end, but to end and the celebration of what I have been talking to you about here for the last two episodes gives you grace. So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick before we end today's podcast. Everyone, I thank you all for tuning in. We got a new segment we're doing on next week, which will put us right around July 1st. So I'll let you all know when this upcoming week, okay?
Black Music Month. It was to recognize our contributions. President Barack Obama rebranded June after Monica Pearson with This Week in Black History. Back in 1979, then President Jimmy Carter declared June Black Music Month. It was to recognize our contributions. President Barack Obama rebranded June African American Music Appreciation Month in 2009. In this year's proclamation, the White House declares the indelible legacy of these musicians who have witnessed our nation's greatest achievements as well as its greatest injustices gives all Americans a richer, deeper understanding of American culture. Their creativity has shaped every genre of music, including rock and roll, rhythm and blues, jazz, gospel, hip hop, and rap. In March, the music world lost the legendary Chuck Berry, one of the founding fathers of rock and roll. His signature style on the guitar, showcased in classics like Johnny B. Good, Maybelline, and Roll Over Beethoven, came to define rock's new sound. This year also marks the centennial birthdays of two of the greatest jazz musicians ever, Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. And this month, the Urban Movie Channel features a plethora of music programming, including documentaries about Tupac Shakur, Notorious B.I.G., and Jam Master Jay, as well as concert performances by Earth, Wind and Fire and Jimi Hendrix. The channel also will share little-known stories of black musicians in history, such as the enslaved pianist Thomas Green Bethune and Queen of the Trumpet, Valletta Snow.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in to the Mechanism Podcast, episode 2. I hope you all enjoyed today's segment about June Black Music Month. Make sure you tune in back to normal broadcasting on next Monday at 7 p.m. We have a new topic that we're going to be speaking about. I hope you all have a phenomenal and a wonderful evening.